Hello, my name is Gloria Fowler. I am the Director of Congregational Development and Transformation for Louisiana Annual Conference. We're so excited to bring this series of webinars for our churches. And the topic that I'll be covering on this particular video segment is on the topic of financial sustainability. We know that COVID-19 has brought many challenges and many opportunities. And our churches have seized the moment and the opportunity to pivot from all these challenges and to go online and still be the church for their members. And not only that, being able to reach new people in a new way that they had not ever imagined before. And when it comes to challenges, yes, there are so many challenges that we are faced with. And one of those challenges is the financial sustainability that many of us as individuals, as a society is dealing with right now. You have heard on the news that 30 million people in the U.S. have sought unemployment aid since COVID-19. That number is huge, and it is said that the number is projected to go up even higher. And that this number is affecting the economy, and it is impacting different organizations, the society, and now it is affecting even the churches. Different organizations like Barna and the Unstuck Group have done surveys with the churches that are on their database, and both of these researches are telling us that about 60% of churches are experiencing decline of giving in their churches. I don't know where your church is at right now, whether you are this part of that 60%, or some of you may be saying that Gloria, we're okay, we are financially sustaining, we're maintaining, our giving is just the same, or you may be one of those churches that I've heard that's saying, we are actually experiencing even more increased generosity because our members see what is happening, around us, and because they have the capacity, they're stepping up to give even more. Regardless of where you are financially, I pray that God will help us with the sustainability, that we will take this opportunity to help our members understand the importance of generosity and learning and being proactive in managing our finances before the hard time comes, that we would have the financial sustainability to be the church that has no hesitance, but to truly live out the mission of making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And with that as my prayer for all of our churches, here is recommendation number 1 for financial sustainability. And that is to take the time to have gratitude and generosity moments in our Sunday morning worship experiences. I have enjoyed worshiping with so many of our churches on Sunday morning online worship services. And enjoyed their praise, music that they're bringing and the messages. At the same time, there were so many churches that have missed the mark on bringing the topic of generosity on Sunday morning worship experiences. I know that we're not physically passing the offering plate, and it is not easy for many of our pastors to be talking about finance and money on Sunday morning. But yet, I want to encourage you that act of giving is an act of worship. And we give because God has given so much to us, and we give because of God's grace and God's blessing in our lives. And even in the midst of COVID-19, we know that God is walking with us, and we give because God has given us so much. And more than that, I want to encourage you to just talk about how your ministry is possible because of their generosity, and they're giving toward God's work and ministry. And even in the midst of COVID-19, you are able to bring church online. You're able to provide so many things to the people because of their generosity. So talk about that. Share the stories of how God is using your church and making a difference in the individuals' lives, the community, and the society and the world. people want to give towards something that is making a great impact. And by you telling those stories, they know that not only are they giving to God, but that is making a difference for God's kingdom. So I want to encourage you and challenge you to do that on Sunday morning experiences. And not only on Sunday mornings, but take the time to have gratitude and generosity moments in your newsletters, your emails, your physical mails that are going out, in your videos, your social medias, in whatever ways that you're connected to your people and you're communicating with your people. You need to not forget that every time you need to take the time to have generosity and gratitude moments. Recommendation number 2 for financial sustainability is providing multiple ways to give. Yes, we can teach our people on the topic of generosity and encouraging them to give, but if we're not providing multiple ways for people to give, we will not be able to see the first time givers, the second time givers, people becoming tithers, and people becoming generous givers. So, of course, passing of the offering plate is no more because we are not gathering in person. And even if we are gathering in person, we know that offering plates will take some time for it to come back. So do you have the following ways that people can give? Online giving. Do you have ways that people can give through an app on their phone or text to give? And of course, people can still give, by mailing in their checks. And some of the churches I've heard that they put out a secure lock boxes in their facility where people can still drop off their checks if they would like to do that. Do you have encourage your people to set up ACH or auto draft from their bank? Something that I want to encourage you beyond these multiple ways of giving is helping people set up recurring giving. Because as we move forward with this COVID-19, a lot of churches are going to be in that 60% category of seeing the decline in their giving, not because people don't want to be generous, but because people are struggling financially with their budget. So the money that your church can rely on truly is actually the recurring giving, not on giving here and giving there. So if you could encourage your members to set up an ACH or auto draft from your bank, or even your online giving apps or the phone apps have ways that they can designate and say, hey, I want this much amount given weekly or bi-weekly, monthly. So this will help. This way, this recurring giving will help you know how much budget you're working with, but not only that, you're encouraging your members to become more regular givers and generous givers through this. If you don't have an online app set up yet, I'd like to encourage you to check out United Methodist Foundation of Louisiana, because they provide a free app for our churches. And if you'd like to know what more options are out there, screenshot this PowerPoint and check them out online. And there are many websites that compare these side by side so you can know what will be the best fit for your church. It is my prayer that by you providing multiple ways of giving, that you will see first-time givers, second-time givers, regular givers, and tithers, and generous givers that helps toward financial sustainability and you truly living out what it means to be a church for the kingdom of God. Recommendation number 3 for financial sustainability is stewarding the budget. I know that through your gratitude and generosity moments that people are going to become generous, and by you providing multiple ways of giving, that people are going to give even more. But let's be proactive, because we have gone through disasters here in Louisiana and we know and have experienced what that's like. Maybe while we're going through the disaster, we don't see the financial effect of it right away, but 6 months down the road, we see the economic impact, or 12 months down the road, sometimes even 2 years down the road, we see the impact that it has on the economy. So few things that I would like to recommend your church is reduce your income projection by the amount that used to be received in cash, on Sunday morning plate, and base your future projections just on the recurring and consistent giving, not based on what was your last year's giving budget. And create contingency plan A, B, and C. What create a scenarios of what if you had 10% reduction in giving, or 20% reduction, or 30%. I know that we haven't met for now, what, 8-9 weeks, and in-person gathering may be possible, but there's going to be so many restrictions, and I don't know how many months it is going to be before we are able to go back to normal and gather in person, as we used to. And financial organizations that work with churches are projecting that many of our churches are going to see 20 to 30% reduction in giving. And if this is going to be true, how is your church going to be prepared for it? And which means that you need to examine what is the essential and non-essential staff, programs, and ministries. And you need to classify expenditures in 3 tiers and create triggers, and for waves of reduction. I know that those are hard work, but as finance committee, as leadership of the church, this is something that you need to do now and be proactive rather than waiting till later and being reactive of what is happening. And send emails and letters out to your members stating the reality of your finances and how you're going to handle it. And again, share that gratitude and generosity moments in those letters so that people can step up and be part of helping hold the church together to help truly be the church that makes a difference for God's kingdom. Recommendation number 4 for financial sustainability is protocols for internal control. I know that when Louisiana experienced disasters, such as Katrina and different times, I've heard stories of how protocols for internal control was not followed through, and there was a lot of mishandling and mismanagement of money. I hope that that's not the case here with COVID-19, but even with the challenge that we have been given with COVID-19 and social distancing, I just want to remind our churches that we cannot ignore the fact that dual control needs to be in place, that regardless of social distancing, even in a creative way, that we still need to have 2 people counting the money, and that we need to make sure that person who is writing the check is not signing the check, and those kind of things. I know that there are more things. I will add this onto my attached document and more recommendations for finance committee to talk about how you're going to go about stewarding your budget and your finances, so that you will have the financial sustainability to help your church move forward and truly be the church that is impacting individuals in your community and making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world.